Hello, my name's Steve Blake. I'm speaking to you now from the Maui Memory Clinic in Hawaii. My class topic is clinical use of plants for neurological disorders. Well, it's time now to talk about yet another neurologic disorder, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. There are various therapeutic effects that we'd like to see with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. This is also one of the more dangerous neurologic disorders, should be taken very seriously. Reducing oxidative stress helps with neurodegeneration, reducing mitochondrial damage, which can happen with oxidation. We need to, again, curb the excitatory pathways with glutamate in the brain, reducing the calcium influx that can lead to brain overexcitement. And of course, reducing neuroinflammation is good. There are environmental risk factors that are very much associated with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, BMAA. ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease or motor neuron disease, more modern term. It involves the selective death of neurons in the motor cortex. Shown in this slide is the red area of the brain. The neurons in the brain can die, and this can result in progressive paralysis and muscle atrophy. It can be very difficult to swallow or eat solid food with ALS. More fruits and vegetables reduce the risk of ALS 39 to 43%. So especially for people who do or don't have ALS, good idea to increase your intake of fruits and vegetables to reduce your risk of ALS and other neurodegenerative diseases. Higher beta-carotene consumption is correlated with a 44% decrease in ALS risk. Beta-carotene, of course, is a marker for the intake of green and orange and yellow fruits and vegetables and roots. So this also is a marker showing that people are eating these healthy foods. Vitamin E is also a big factor to decrease risk of ALS, 21% in a meta-study of over 1 million participants. In one study, risk of ALS was 36% less with long-term supplementation of vitamin E. And some of the studies use tiny doses of vitamin E, not even up to the RDA, and far below the amount that one would take. For instance, they're giving maybe 10 milligrams, the RDA is 15 milligrams, and common supplementary doses can be 200 to 400 milligrams per day. The rates of ALS declined the longer people took it. There is a plant called Cornus officinalis, and it contains something called Morroniside. And it seems to have protective effects on neurodegenerative disease, especially ALS. In China, this Morroniside or the Cornus officinalis plant are used for ALS. Morroniside showed a significant increase in protective antioxidants like glutathione and protected against toxicity from excess oxidation, also protected superoxide dismutase, which is necessary to protect our brains. Astragaloside is found in astragalus, Radix Astragali in Chinese. It's tonic herbal medicine, a root, safe, mild, and often looks like these, what we jokingly call tongue depressors. They're just sliced up roots. It reduces the production of reactive oxygen species that can kill off brain cells in ALS and, of course, in other cases too. And it decreases the rate of brain cell death. It's very, very important. There is a thunder god vine that cholesterol is extracted from. And the onset of ALS is markedly delayed, and motor function was really improved. And motor function is a big problem with ALS, moving and swallowing and facial expressions, all of that. This was a mouse study. I apologize for that. But the survival time of these mice was significantly prolonged. And it's possible. This is the only plant I've ever found that has the possibility of prolonging life by 5 to 7 years in human ALS. Now, this is especially good given that many people after diagnosis only live 5 to 7 years. So doubling their lifespan could be something that this has the possibility. I look forward to seeing clinical studies and trials to validate this in humans. There are many anti-inflammatory plants that can help with ALS, and studies have shown that all of these can help. Ginkgo biloba, not with blood-thinning drugs. Panax ginseng, but not with excess heat. Genistein is the anti-inflammatory factor found in soy products. Epigallocatechin gallate is found in tea, Camellia sinensis tea. And resveratrol comes from red grapes. Now, there's also gastroidin. This is from the Gastroidia elata plant, and it can get into the blood-brain barrier and through it to directly influence brain neurons. So this can keep the calcium from going into the brain cells and causing excitotoxicity and damage to the brain cells. So it can reverse some of the excitotoxicity that's found in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Also, protecting from excitotoxicity, you can use acerone, which is distilled from the Acorus tatarinoili plant. One study showed that its effect was to reduce the glutamate-induced cytotoxicity. And it can also increase cell survival. So we're seeing with these plants something that we're not seeing with any drugs, is actually protect the brain cells, keep them alive, and keep people alive. One herbal formula for ALS that I thought was especially well studied, and they managed to do about 11% change in slowing progression. An herbal formula for ALS. Chinese Herbal Formula slowed progression of symptoms to 1/2 the speed compared to standard riluzole drug, which had about 19% change, and the Chinese Herbal Formula 11% change. So it did even better than the drug. No serious side effects were noted, and this contains Panax Ginseng, Astragalus, Desert Cistanchi, Atractylodis Macrocephalae, Poria Cocos, and licorice, Glycyrrhiza. I hope that this talk has been helpful. Thank you very much.